Hi everybody. So last week we created a actor component in C++ and we attached it to the blueprint for the third person. And I don't know about you, but now every time I close the program and come back into it, that blueprint is no longer attached. So it turns out that there is a way to attach it through code instead, and so we're going to try that as kind of a fix for the situation. So we're going to get into our C++ code, and we need to open up the parent class of the character of the third person. So what it's going to be for us is going to be whatever your project name is. So mine is p2_gen and then character. So you're going to see I have a CPP and an HPP file. So we're going to want to open up both of those. And so in both of them at the top, we're going to add the player status that we made before. So we're going to add the header file there. So if you wanted to, you could probably come here. But I don't see it. So we'll just type it include and then p2 player stats.h. So we need that file, and we need that file in both the character and in the header file and in the CPP file. So we're going to add that both places. And what I always like to do is when I do some of these things, save it, especially when I'm learning and I want to make sure I don't mess things up. Then come compile. Just to get a warm fuzzy that I'm not messing things up. So if you compile early and often, then so we got a good green go. So then we can go to the next step, which I realize just opening the new files and doing that, right, can be problematic. So then in the header, so we need to go back into our code. What we're going to do is basically we're going to attach the thing using code. So under public in the header, so we're going to go to the header of our character. We are going to come down and find just under the public area, so protected and public, right? So in this area, we're going to add this. Now, we've used eProperties last week, and if you remember right, this is basically saying that we're just creating a variable. This player stats is the variable we're creating, and it's going to want to be used by the reflection system that Unreal uses to take variables from C++ and actually have them displayed in Unreal. So that's that. And these are parameters that are telling us information. Like this is that it's visible anywhere, that it's read only, and that the category, like the section it's going to be under, is in stats. Now this tObject part is saying that it's making a pointer. So if you remember right, pointers are just pointing to an address location in memory. So it's putting an address location inside of a variable point. And that's what a pointer is. And these are special pointers that Unreal makes that are used specifically to make sure that that its garbage collection uses it. So that's the thing about C++. For the most part, in most of the languages, is when you write a pointer, you have to control when it gets, if you create it, then you have to delete it. And especially if you're going to, depending on how you manage it, if you dynamically allocate it, then you're going to have to delete it. And so this way, by putting it in a wrapper that that Unreal's garbage collector does, comes and cleans it up after us, then we don't have to manage it. Unreal manages it. So that's that part. How we're going to actually make it work is we're going to go to the header file and make sure you're in the header file for your project character.cpp. That's where we want to put this. and we're going to go down and we're going to find the constructor. A constructor is basically it's going to be the project name, character, project name, character. So what a constructor is, it's when you initialize a variable or you initialize a class. Sorry, it's a class, not a variable. When you initialize a class, it's the stuff that gets sent and created when you initialize it. So what we want to do is we want to add stuff to this. This is all stuff that the system defines for your class. So like for the third person character, like you can see here like the max walking speed and stuff that we modified last week in another way. So we're going to come down to the bottom of this constructor. So we want to make sure we're before the curly braces, and we're going to come in here and we're going to type, and what we're going to do is we're going to set up our player stats, right? And we're going to create it, the default, and it's a sub object. And again, I don't expect you guys to understand or know all of the code that's in here, but I do want you to start trying to read it and figure it out and see what you can find out and figure out about it. Because I will tell you, 99% of the time when you go into a company or you go into some place that's been in existence for any length of time, this is what's going to happen is you're going to go look at their code and start making small little changes and tweaks to that code to do what you want to do. You rarely ever just start from scratch and make your own code. It's almost always doing this where you're getting code and you're updating it. So what this is doing, right, we're creating a variable called player stats that we declared over here in the header file, right? That's how it works. And it's creating a default sub-object. So that's how we're doing it. And we're making sure that it's our player stat that we made last week. And then, and this is the text that goes with it. And so all of that is creating this player stats character. So hopefully, so we're going to hit save and go into Unreal again and compile and hope, fingers crossed, that we didn't have any more typos or anything. Happy to see all the green. And then I'm going to hit play. And look at that. Up here I have my hello world. And if I look at my output log, and I scroll to the bottom, look at that. I have my outputs that I had from it. So that just gets us back to where we were last week. So this video is basically to help you make sure that, because if I go into the third person character, you'll see now it has player status here, and it might be slightly different because we're editing it in the C++. It's not something we do here. So we didn't have to add it this way. So I will see you in the next video.